So I'm Andy Walker. I'm a 41-year-old gentleman who for the past 13 years has been a proud wheelchair user. I've had a spinal cord injury since an accident in Goa in 2006, which left me paralysed from the neck down. So I use a chin-controlled wheelchair to get me mobile and about, which is important for me because amongst other things that I do, I run a business called Living Your Dreams Consultancy, which provides consultancy advice around issues which affect disabled people and also motivational speaking. So that's a little bit about me. So, at the age of 28, I didn't really know much about issues which affected people living with disabilities at all. I was involved in businesses and I had a construction management degree. And whilst I'd done work with charities, I never really understood how people had so many barriers in society, whether that be people who are blind or deaf, or people who use wheelchairs, or it could be a non-physical disability like autism. So it was an interesting world for me to enter myself in, and I really tried to embrace it after leaving the spinal unit. So the first thing I wanted to do was to get busy and get into work, and I found so many barriers about that, which was the main thing was people's perceptions of what I could do. The funny story was that there was a social worker came to my house and told me he had the perfect job for me, so I was delighted to hear that because I was really looking to get back out and do some work. I'd adapted my own property, and I was keen to find out what ideas that he had because he had the experience. And his idea was that he had me working in a chicken factory counting chickens, which for people who work in the chicken factory and count chickens, no disrespect, but that wasn't my dream, and I've always done things which were my choice, my aspiration. So I found that people's perceptions of what could be available to people like myself, even the health professionals that were there to help support, on that journey, the first steps I was taking on the journey, were quite, in my opinion, quite low. So I started to volunteer. I started to meet people in link centres and centres for independent living, and I started to ask a lot of questions about people's lives and the stories, the challenges that they've had, that they tell me about. But what I found a lot with disabled people is that they're amazing, positive people who are excellent at overcoming barriers, hurdles and challenges. And I started to get involved in things like the Right to Control movement, which is all about people accessing benefits easier, because from my family's point of view, there wasn't enough information and advice out there. We really struggled and we're challenged about getting a care package, what's called a personal health budget. So I was told that I couldn't have one of those even though they were available through my local authority and NHS at the time. They were the pioneering site. So I started to campaign. I started to think, this isn't right, we need to make a change. And from what I'd been told from other people who had much more lived experience than I had with disabilities, that by working together, by having a voice, and by challenging perceptions and the barriers that are out there, and by trying to live with the social model of disability, that we can make a difference. So that's what I did. I started to volunteer, and that's basically how I got entered into the world of the world of campaigning, the world of consultancy, the world of information, advice, and through my business and through groups and through the third sector and disabled people's organisations, people I work with, people I'm inspired by. I try and do as much as I can to reduce the barriers and to open up opportunities for people like myself and people in different situations living with disabilities. The first thing that I was really keen on was to set up, being quite selfish, I needed to get my own family situation right, and a lot of the problems that I had was around the care and support that I was receiving. So I worked with the CCG, I worked with the NHS to look at this opportunity for personal health budgets, and an organisation called People Hub and the NHS England invited me to become a national peer leader, so a group of people there that talk to CCGs about the benefits of personal health budget. So the idea of a personal health budget is that I hold the budget, that I can employ and recruit my own staff, because the other alternative was for the NHS to do that. And I kind of said, look, I run businesses, I know the best people that I want to work in my house, the people that need to bathe me, the people that need to help babysit for my godchildren, the people that deal with my finances, and the people that live with my partner. So that was the start of things, and then I was introduced to a fantastic organisation called Breakthrough UK, and they invited me to apply for a position because I had knowledge of the built environment through my construction degree, to apply for a role for the Disability Design Reference Group, which I was awarded the facilitation role, and it just opened up this world of issues related to the Metro link in Manchester, the willingness of Transport for Greater Manchester to remove those barriers, not just physically, but in terms of service provision, the website, and it's a group that I'm really proud to be involved in. So there's many groups that I've worked with alongside those. So the Coalition in Manchester is a fantastic organisation that's been very prominent in supporting and guiding disabled people and local authorities and NHSs to try and remove those barriers. So there's been a plethora of organisations that I've worked with, and along the road you meet so many different people with so many different stories, and it's amazing what journeys people have been through. I mean, I've been hugely inspired by disabled people and what they've done. So people involved in the Disability Design Reference Group, there are so many people. I mean, the entire group. I turned up with, at the time, probably 6 years lived experience living with disability, 2 of which was really sort of self-focused. So there's a chap who's part of our group with a visual impairment, a blind fella called Francis Salt, who is just an amazing chap who has campaigned for the rights of disabled people, but people in society in general. I think he's amazing. Lorraine Gradwell, who was involved with the Coalition and Breakthrough UK for so many years. Before she passed away, used to sit me down and tell me off and give me direction and say, look, you've got a voice, you can't sit there at home, and you've got to really push yourself, and these are what the issues are, and this is why someone who she considered articulate, not myself particularly, but she said, you need to get out there, you need to campaign, you need to challenge, and you need to be a voice in meetings, and not just me, but to try and inspire people. So I try to volunteer, so I group lead certain courses with young people living with disabilities, people who have acquired spinal injuries for a variety of different reasons, and I try and inspire them about getting back to work and getting back out in society, and don't be ask a girl out or ask a guy out, don't be shy, and you're still exactly the same person. Circumstances might have changed, but as a person, as an individual, your aspirations should be the same. And I speak to them about the movement, and I say to them, challenge these things. Don't just accept something because the public sector say it has to be like that, or an employer says it has to be like that, or society says it has to be. You need to challenge these things if you feel they're not right, and there's a way of doing it. But like I said, people like Francis Solo and Lorraine Gradwell, and I could name probably 5,000 people, if not more, within nationwide and regionally, who have had a massive impact on me through their experiences, their stories, and the individual campaigning that they've done, with the successes and the failures. But they continue to do it, and they inspire me to continue to do it, and I'll do it for the rest of my life.